d'Argenteuil, la petite nation qui va nous mener dans le chant de l'hymne national.
Oh Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command, car ton bras s'est porté l'épée, il s'est porté la croix, son histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on God for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on God for thee.
Que l'on ouvre les portes. May the doors be open. Statements by members. Déclaration de députés. The honourable member from Cumberland, Colchester.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. 5 years ago, Portapique, Nova Scotia faced an unimaginable tragedy. But what happened next in my riding is an important lesson in what resilience looks like. The people of Portapique didn't just survive, they organized. Working with the Rotary Club of Truro, they said, we will not be defined by our darkest hours. Through generosity of donors from across Canada and support from all levels of government, they transformed tragedy into community. On June 1st, we celebrate the first anniversary of the opening of the Portapique Community Centre, proof that when communities unite, we can create spaces that honor our past while building toward a happier, healthier future. I thank them for their example, and I thank you for the time.
The honourable member for Edmonton Manning.
For Canada to become the world's leading energy superpower is just an empty promise. Where's the investment in infrastructure? Where's the commitment to repeal the job-killing liberal anti-energy laws from the last Parliament? Albertans wants to know if this government understands how important our clean, ethical fossil fuels are to the Canadian economy and to the world. Is the throne speech just rhetoric, or are the Liberals finally willing to face reality? The demand for Alberta products is there, but the delivery method is lacking. The previous Prime Minister told those who's looking to buy Canadians oil and gas that they really did not want to buy it. Will the new Prime Minister commit to a west-east pipeline to move Alberta oil and gas to the Canadian and European markets? Albertans wants to know. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Whitby.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today for the first time in the 45th Parliament with a deep sense of gratitude and humility. To the people of Whitby, thank you for placing your trust in me for a third time. It's been the honour of my life to serve since 2019, and I remain committed more than ever to delivering results that improve the lives of people in our community. To the incredible volunteers and supporters who powered our campaign, thank you so very much for your time, your energy, and your heart, which made the difference in our success. And to my incredible family, my wife Suze, daughters Alexis and Brooke, my mother-in-law Verna, and my nephew Ryan, thank you for your unwavering support and all your sacrifice. I couldn't do this without you. Now, there are many challenges ahead, Mr. Speaker, but our priorities are clear. Protect Canada's sovereignty, address affordability challenges, keep communities safe, and build the strongest economy in the G7. I look forward to contributing to the hard-working team that will deliver results for Canadians.
For Parry Sound, Muskoka.
Mr. Speaker, I'm humbled to rise today to thank the incredible people of Parry Sound, Muskoka, who have placed their trust in me to represent them here in this House for the third time. This seat, of course, it doesn't belong to me, it belongs to the people I serve. From the majestic French River in the north to the historic Trent Severn in the south, from the rugged shores of Georgian Bay to the heights of Algonquin Park, it is an honor to serve the people who call our magnificent region home. But you know, throughout the election, I heard from countless people about the issues that are important to them: cost of living, safety in our streets, protecting hunters' rights, and of course the outrageous price of homes. And today I want to reassure all the people of Parry Sound Muskoka that I am here to advocate for you and for your voice to be heard in this House, your House of Commons. You have placed your trust in me, and I promise to earn that trust every single day. Thank you.
Le député d'Argenteuil, la Petite Nation.
Je tiens aujourd'hui à souligner avec fierté le talent exceptionnel de 3 jeunes de ma circonscription qui se sont illustrés aux Olympiades québécoises des métiers et des technologies tenues à Québec du 7 au 10 mai 2025. En cuisine, Théolie Lajoie a remporté la médaille d'or, démontrant une maîtrise remarquable de son art. En mécanique industrielle, Mathis Roson s'est également mérité la médaille d'or, preuve de son ingéniosité et de sa rigueur. Et en pâtisserie, Geneviève Demello a décroché la médaille de bronze, soulignant son talent prometteur dans ce métier exigeant. Ces 3 médaillés étudiants au CFP Innovation Outaouais de ma circonscription, une institution qui forme la relève avec une passion, avec excellence. Je les félicite chaleureusement de leur travail, leur persévérance et leur réussite. Ils sont une source d'inspiration pour toute une communauté et nous sommes extrêmement fiers d'eux. Bravo Théolie, Mathis.
The Honourable Member for Battle River Crowfoot.
In the last Parliament, I introduced a private member's bill, something that will again be reintroduced soon. This bill, an act to recognize a national livestock brand as a symbol of Canada, aims to acknowledge and promote the role of farmers, ranchers, and the whole of the agriculture and animal husbandry sector, plus so much of our history, like pioneers, Indigenous peoples, resource industries like mining in the oil patch, hunters, trappers, and anyone else who played a role in building our country from coast to coast to coast. As I plan to step down as soon as possible, I hope to see this conversation on this important issue continue. This livestock brand is a heraldic symbol added to the national inventory of Canadian symbols, would be a fitting way to recognize a huge part of our country's history. At a time when national unity is at stake, this bill would be important to show that Western and frontier culture played and still plays a prominent role in the building of Canada. Conservatives get this? I hope the whole House will join in supporting this bill.
The Honourable Member for Milton East, Halton Hills South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today I share the story of the grades 4 and 5 classes at Glen Williams Public School in Georgetown, Ontario, and that of their dedicated teachers and parents who are actually visiting Ottawa today. These teachers assign their students to craft a letter sharing their vision for the future of Canada. The final product was so inspirational that it garnered national attention and a visit from the Prime Minister. I thank teachers across Canada who bring this type of civic education to their schools. I'm sure we can all agree that education is the foundation of a strong, united, compassionate country. Canada's youth should be able to look to their leaders to set a guiding example. It's certainly a reminder for me, Mr. Speaker, and I hope to my member colleagues to always lead with respect, integrity, and purpose because the children are watching.
L'honorable député de Berthier-Masquinongé.
Dans quelques jours, ce sera la journée mondiale du lait. Levons nos verres pour célébrer cet aliment aussi simple qu'essentiel. Le lait a traversé les âges et les cultures, et c'est bien plus qu'une simple boisson. C'est un trésor de bienfaits. Il nourrit notre corps, renforce nos os et complète bien nos bols de céréales en matinée comme nos desserts sucrés en soirée. La journée mondiale du lait est aussi l'occasion de célébrer l'engagement des producteurs qui, chaque jour, avec passion, persévérance nous offre cette richesse. C'est une journée pour réfléchir à la manière dont le lait parvient à nos tables, grâce à un travail invisible, mais pour la plupart d'entre nous, mais par contre essentiel. Alors aujourd'hui, pensons à ce verre de lait et au système de gestion d'offres qu'il soutient, comme il soutient aussi nos agriculteurs qui se lèvent tous les matins et qui assurent le dynamisme de nos régions. Santé et joyeuse journée mondiale du lait. Bravo!
The honourable member for Bruce Grey, Owen Sound.
Mr. Speaker, 100 years ago today, Albert Christian was born in Waterloo, Ontario. At age 17, he was in the local barber shop and overheard two older guys talking about heading to London, where they were going to enlist in the Canadian Army. Bert asked if he could tag along, which he did. Bert passed all the tests, exams, and interviewed, and was enlisted despite having lied about his age. Bert served in France, Belgium, Holland, and Germany with the Essex Scottish Regiment. It was in Germany that he fought on the front lines in the Hochwald Forest against the Nazis. Bert had three brothers that served in the war as well. All four brothers returned home from the war alive and well. Bert met another four brothers in Europe that were from Manitoulin Island who also returned home safe and sound. They invited Bert to join them when they returned to Canada, and he did. That is where he met his future wife, Maureen. At the age of 63, Bert retired to Owen Sound to be close to family. Bert had two children, David and Rick, and his two grandchildren, Candace and Corey. One saying Bert always says, "Old soldiers never die, they just fade away." And he still says that he would do it all again. Happy 100th birthday, Bert. Pro Patria.
The honourable member for Richmond East, Stevenston.
It's an honour to be elected, and I'm very grateful to the residents of Richmond East, Stevenston, for placing their trust in me once again to serve as their voice in this House. I dedicate this statement in memory of a childhood friend, Suki Baya, who sadly passed during the election. One election issue raised in our community was the urgent need for mental wellness and wraparound supports. May is Mental Health Awareness Month in Canada, and policymakers ought to be aware of the challenges Canadians face. According to the Canadian Mental Health Association, the rate of suicide for Canadian men is 3 times higher than for women. However, women are hospitalized for self-harm twice as often as men. As the 45th Parliament begins its work, I call on all levels of government to come together and invest in mental health as a cornerstone of building healthy, resilient, and thriving communities for all Canadians.
The honourable member for York Centre.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's a privilege to rise in the House of Commons for the first time. I'm honoured to serve the beautiful riding of York Centre, located in the great city of Toronto. It's also home to one of Canada's largest Jewish communities, to which I belong. Speaker, an unprecedented wave of hate crimes is terrorizing Canada's Jewish community. Under this Liberal government, hate crimes are up 250% and anti-Semitic hate crimes are up over 400%. A Jewish school located a mile away from my North York home has been shot at 3 times. Enough is enough. Conservatives stand with Canada's Jewish community for its right to exist, to worship, and to live free from violence and intimidation. Last Sunday, over 50,000 Jewish Canadians proudly marched through York Centre on the Walk with Israel. We're grateful to the Toronto Police for keeping us safe, but we demand of this Liberal government to end the incitement to violence we hear on Canada's streets and take all necessary measures to protect the Jewish community. I know that my Conservative colleagues will fight for the safety of Jews all across Canada. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Mississauga, Erin Mills.
Congratulations, Mr. Speaker, on your election, and through you, welcome to all members of Parliament to this House. I look forward to working together as Canadians, serving Canadians. I also want to thank the people of Mississauga, Erin Mills, to my phenomenal team and volunteers for once again placing their trust in me. It's an honour to continue representing our beautiful community. Canadians have chosen a government led by our Prime Minister that's ready to meet the challenges ahead. Global instability, threats to sovereignty, and urgent pressures on housing and affordability. Our government has laid out a clear path, building a strong, inclusive economy, strengthening Canada's global role, and deepening ties with our allies. We're focused on delivering real results creating opportunity, removing interprovincial trade barriers to build one strong Canadian economy. Let's get to work. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Nanaimo Ladysmith.
Mr. Speaker, I wish my first intervention in the House on behalf of the people of Nanaimo Ladysmith was under better circumstances. But our community is in crisis. In 2024, Nanaimo lost 94 people to overdoses, more than 3 times the number in 2016 when the BC government declared the opioids crisis a public health emergency. Families are grieving. Neighborhoods feel the weight of this tragedy. The safe supply experiment has failed. People are suffering. Crime is up. It has truly been a lost decade. Conservatives know that it is time to invest in treatment, to recriminalize hard drugs like fentanyl, and to provide real mental health supports, not taxpayer-funded drugs that fuel addiction. It's time for common sense solutions that restore hope and bring our loved ones home drug-free.
The honourable member for Halifax.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Je prends la parole aujourd'hui, un mois après mon élection, pour remercier les citoyens de Halifax de m'avoir accordé leur confiance. C'est le soutien de ma communauté qui m'a permis d'accéder à la Chambre des communes. Halifax is a special place, known to the Mi'kmaq who cared for the land for millennia as Chibuktuk, or Great Harbour. It's one of Canada's oldest cities. It's home to Black communities predating Confederation and is the birthplace of responsible government. Today, Halifax is a hub of research, innovation, and technology. We're home to Canada's ocean supercluster, and we lead in climate action, shipbuilding, and global trade. We're a vibrant and fast-growing maritime city, and our greatest strength has always been our people. Haligonians are resilient, caring, and driven. As I take my seat in the chamber, I am honored to be their champion in Ottawa, and I'm ready to get to work.
The honourable member for Elmwood, Transcona.
Mr. Speaker, as I rise today, I want to thank my family, friends, volunteers, and the hardworking people of Elmwood, Transcona who place their trust in me and the Conservative Party. These are the Canadians who get up early, put on their boots, and build the country we love. I've been in their boots 18 years as a construction electrician, proud union member, and vice president of IBW Local 2085. The NDP and Liberals have abandoned unions. They have driven up inflation, housing costs, and taxes while supporting union-busting tactics. That's why more rank-and-file union members are turning to the Conservatives, many for the first time. Just weeks ago, we received support from local unions like the ILA, the UBC, IBEW, UA, Boilermakers, LIUNA, and many, many more. Conservatives are the party of blue-collar workers. We will keep working to earn and trust of Canadian workers and delivering strong, prosperous future they deserve.
The honourable member for Carleton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Merci, Monsieur le Président, chers collègues. I wish to thank the people of Carleton for the confidence they've placed in me. I will never take the honour of representing them for granted. I also wish to thank the hundreds of volunteers who believed that together we could. From Stittsville to Constance Bay, Riverside South to Metcalfe, Greeley to Richmond, and Manotick to Osgood, and all points in between, together we did. Now it's time to embrace every moment in this House and in all of our ridings to build a future in which all Canadians can thrive, in the true North, strong and free.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker. I would like to welcome the Prime Minister to his first official question period. This is where democracy lives, and this is where we provide rigorous scrutiny on every word he says and every dollar he spends on behalf of Canadians. Now, let's talk about those words and dollars. During the election campaign, it was elbows up as he put retaliatory tariffs on the U.S. Then secretly, he dropped those tariffs to effectively zero. But he didn't stop there. He told Canadians that the government would collect $20 billion in revenue from those tariffs and use it to cost his platform. Now that those tariffs are going to bring in $0, two quick questions. Why wasn't he honest with Canadians during the election? And how is he going to make up the shortfall? Is he going to borrow it, print it, or tax it?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, may I first thank my constituents from Nepean for giving me the honour of being here. And could you also indulge me to say how great it is to see you in the Speaker's chair, and I trust that you're operating under the period of grace that will not be accorded to me. Appropriately, as the Leader of the Opposition just said. Mr. Speaker, our tariffs have maximum impact on the United States, minimum impact on Canada, and we are dedicating all the revenues from those tariffs to supporting the workers and businesses affected by the unjustified American actions.
Hear, hear. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Well, he didn't take long to pick up old Liberal habits of not being able to answer questions. But since the election, Canadians have been inundated with grand rhetoric and pretty speeches from this Liberal Party, but they are still suffering under all those policies. Household debt up at record levels. Number of people who can't pay their mortgages increasing. Food bank use continuing to rise. Now TD Bank is forecasting a recession with hundreds of thousands of lost jobs. The PM said undoing the damage of the last 10 years would require great speed, but he's not going to table a budget for 6 months. If he's the man with the plan and the guy you hire in a crisis, why won't he table a budget before he goes on summer vacation?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I understand the member of the opposition is very busy, didn't have a chance to study closely the 100-day plan of the former member from Ottawa, Carleton, which did not include a budget. Our plan includes legislating. Our plan includes legislating for one Canadian economy and nation-building projects immediately to grow this economy, and we expect the support from all in this House.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
They must be really afraid to come clean with Canadians if they're going to punt it off into the fall. But, Mr. Speaker, with the throne speech yesterday, Liberals have effectively admitted that it was their policies that caused the suffering for Canadians. Their reckless borrowing and massive deficits caused the inflation. The carbon tax drove up prices and drove away investment. And their anti-development bills chased jobs out of Canada. Now, the Prime Minister is claiming that somehow the Liberals have changed. Well, he has a chance to prove it to Canadians. If he's serious, will he tell Canadians that pipelines are part of his values by repealing Bill C-69, the No More Pipelines Bill?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Canada's new government is acting immediately to grow this economy. I just made my maiden speech in this House. Canada's new government, Mr. Speaker, is acting immediately to grow this economy. One Canadian economy out of 13, nation-building projects, one project office, working with the provinces to cooperate. We expect the support from the members opposite.
Hear, hear. L'honorable député de Charlebourg, Haute-Saint-Charles.
Le président, le premier ministre, a fait campagne en prétendant être l'homme avec un plan. Et le problème, c'est qu'il refuse tout simplement de dire aux Canadiens quel est ce plan. Et pourtant, un budget, c'est un plan. Les libéraux vont avoir passé plus d'un an sans présenter de budget, jamais vu depuis les années 60. Ce qu'on sait, c'est qu'il est déterminé à dépenser encore plus que Justin Trudeau, mais il refuse de dire aux Canadiens comment il compte dépenser cet argent. Qu'est-ce que le premier ministre tente de cacher au sujet de l'état des finances du gouvernement libéral?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Monsieur le Président, le nouveau gouvernement canadien a un plan audacieux, un plan ambitieux d'avoir une économie canadienne au lieu de 13 et d'avoir des projets afin de bâtir cette grande nation.
Exactement.
L'honorable député de Charlebourg, Haute-Saint-Charles.
Monsieur le Président, ce que je vois devant moi, là, c'est les mêmes ministres, le même gouvernement qu'on avait depuis 10 ans. On connaît le résultat de 10 ans de gouvernement libéral. Mais ce qu'on a actuellement, c'est un nouveau premier ministre, oui, mais un premier ministre qui n'a pas de plan. Il a dit à la campagne électorale qu'il avait un plan, mais il ne veut pas présenter de budget parce qu'il sait très bien que son plan est catastrophique, que les finances publiques sont dans un creux monumental. Est-ce que le premier ministre peut s'engager à déposer un budget d'ici l'été?
Bravo! The right honorable Prime Minister.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Le gouvernement va agir immédiatement afin de réduire les impôts pour la classe moyenne. 800 $, 40 pour deux familles de 2 personnes et de réduire le TPS pour les nouvelles maisons. Nous avons un plan et on met en œuvre.
Exactement.
L'honorable député de Charlebourg, Haute-Saint-Charles.
Monsieur le Président, il y a quelques semaines, on était en campagne électorale. La campagne électorale visait surtout à faire peur aux Canadiens concernant les menaces de Donald Trump. Le gouvernement du nouveau premier ministre a mis des tarifs en place au Canada, des contre-tarifs, mais en cachette, ils ont enlevé leurs tarifs pendant la campagne électorale. Ils l'ont surtout pas dit aux Canadiens, parce que les Canadiens avaient peur, ils voulaient garder la peur. Mais là, maintenant, on a un trou de 20 milliards de dollars de revenus. Donc, la plateforme qui était présentée, financière, qui était très déficitaire, est encore plus déficitaire de 20 milliards. Est-ce qu'on peut avoir un budget avant l'été pour savoir l'état des finances publiques du Canada?
Bravo. The right honorable Prime Minister.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Le membre opposé, il parle d'une plateforme conservateur avec ce montant de 20 milliards de dollars. Oui, c'est correct, c'est correct. Monsieur le Président, nous avons des tarifs, des contre-tarifs par rapport aux Américains et qui avoir un impact maximum aux États-Unis, un impact minimal ici au Canada.
Exactement.
L'honorable député de Belleuil-Chambly.
Monsieur le Président, le sujet déclencheur de la campagne électorale, le thème fondateur de l'entièreté de la stratégie des libéraux, c'était une crise commerciale, une crise tarifaire et même une crise annexionniste mettant en vedette Donald Trump. Pourtant, le discours du trône d'hier, lu par un souverain étranger, ne parle ni de commerce, ni de tarifs. Alors, je me demande, Monsieur le Président, qu'est-ce qui s'est passé pour qu'on oublie la terrible crise sur la base de laquelle le premier ministre s'est fait élire?
The right honorable Prime Minister.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Le discours de trône pour ceux et celles qui étaient là. On a étendu la transformation du système commercial du monde. Ça, c'est une crise pour le Canada, une crise sécuritaire pour le Canada. Et il y a un plan audacieux de répondre du gouvernement.
Exactement.
L'honorable député de Belleuil-Chambly. Le premier ministre conviendra avec moi que parfois c'est plus clair quand on lit que quand on entend. Nous avons du temps, Monsieur le Président, mais le discours du roi est centralisateur, tellement centralisateur que même Justin Trudeau devait être gêné d'être là. On nous parle d'une seule économie, sans demander l'avis de personne, alors que l'Assemblée nationale, unanimement, a dénoncé cette notion. Est-ce qu'on peut craindre que pour le premier ministre, le Canada soit des provinces qui sont les succursales d'une banque dont le siège social est à Toronto?
The right honorable Prime Minister.
Monsieur le Président, nous sommes au milieu d'une crise économique. C'est le moment pour l'unité, créée par les Américains, Monsieur le Président. C'est le moment pour l'unité. C'est la raison pour laquelle Monsieur le ministre et moi, nous aurions une réunion des premiers ministres du Québec et toutes les provinces ce week-end à Saskatoon.
L'honorable député de Belleuil-Chambly.
Ça fait figure de réunion de l'état-major où le général va donner ses ordres à des gens dont il s'attend qu'ils obéissent. Selon nous, Monsieur le Président, sur un autre sujet, la crise climatique aussi existe. Il y a des dommages causés par la crise climatique, des dommages humains, des dommages économiques. Selon nous, il faut agir contre la crise climatique. On va y arriver. Or, le discours du trône d'hier fait tout à fait le contraire. Il ignore le climat et met en place des mesures nuisibles en matière de changement climatique et d'environnement. Est-ce que le premier ministre reconnaît l'existence des changements climatiques?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Monsieur le Président, oui, la crise climatique existe. Et c'est un grand défi pour notre nation. Et c'est la raison pour laquelle le Canada doit être une superpuissance énergétique en ce qui concerne l'énergie traditionnelle et verte. Et c'est la raison pour laquelle nous aurions une discussion au G7 en Alberta le mois prochain en ce qui concerne les feux forêts. Merci.
The Honourable Member for Lakeland.
Yesterday, the PM said Canadians shouldn't focus on pipelines. We'll tell that straight to the hundreds of thousands of workers who lost their jobs when these Liberals killed pipelines, LNG exports to allies, and capped Canadian oil and gas. Last year, 98% of Canadian crude went to the U.S., Canada's biggest customer and competitor, due to these Liberals. But in April, the PM said he won't repeal their No New Pipelines, Never Build Anything unlawful Bill C-69 and ignores premiers and businesses. When will he repeal Bill C-69?
Yeah. Minister for Natural Resources.
To rise in the House for the first time. I wish to thank the people of Markham Thornhill for their trust. I'm also thinking of my family. Who have supported me from day one, and my parents who I wish were still with us. It's time to get many projects built here in Canada. We will cut red tape, fast-track projects, and approve them within 2 years. We will create jobs for Canadians and build the strongest economy in the G7.
The Honourable Member for Lakeland.
Alone, these Liberals killed 16 major energy projects and $176 billion in options to make Canada affordable, safe, self-reliant, and united. And half these ministers, they're the same. These Liberals must kill C-69, but they can't get their story straight. 2 weeks ago, the Culture Minister said Canada doesn't need more pipelines. Last week, the Energy Minister talked a good game, but just like right now, won't commit to concrete action. How can Canadians believe anything they say? Will they repeal Bill C-69, yes or no?
Yeah! The Honourable Minister of Energy and Natural Resources.
The Prime Minister has been clear. Yes, we will support new pipelines if there is consensus in Canada for them. With American tariffs threatening our economy and threatening our sovereignty, we must protect our energy security. There is no question energy is Canada's power. It will help us build the strongest economy in the G7, guide the world in the right direction, and help us be strong at the negotiating table. We will win this trade war. We will make Canada an energy superpower.
The Honourable Member for Skeena, Bulkley Valley.
Over 9 years, the Liberals' anti-energy laws have weakened our country to the benefit of the United States.
That's right. Canadian
oil and gas piped to the United States provides jobs and revenues for Americans, but not for Canadians. But get this, it's at a discount. Canada's energy potential has been stalled by anti-energy laws from the Liberal government for close to a decade. Will the Prime Minister scrap the job-killing and economy-killing energy production cap?
Yes!
The Honourable Minister of Energy and Natural Resources.
Mr. Speaker, while my Conservative colleagues are interested in playing politics, I'm interested in getting things built, including pipelines where there is consensus. We will make Canada an energy superpower in both conventional and clean energy by cutting red tape, fast-tracking projects, and approving them within 2 years. This means creating new jobs and growing the economy. We can make Canada strong and protect ourselves from American tariffs if we work together with Indigenous partners, industry, and workers, but also
the honourable member for Skeena-Bulkley Valley.
Time is up.
Even the BC NDP have removed their decarbonization policies for LNG export facilities. Right. This is not politics. Even Canada's Parliamentary Budget Officer forecasts a $20.5 billion reduction in GDP and potential job loss of 54,000 full-time jobs under this energy production cap.
Right.
Canada's loss is America's gain.
That's right. Yes.
Again, to the Prime Minister, will the Prime Minister scrap the Canadian job-killing and Canadian economy-killing energy production cap, yes or no?
Yes.
The Honourable Minister of Environment and Climate Change.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to thank the constituents of Toronto Danforth for giving me this opportunity to stand up for Canada and to build a strong Canada.
Yes.
Now, to the member opposite's question, I want to be clear. If Canada wants to be an energy superpower, the Prime Minister has stated it. It's going to be low cost, low risk, and low carbon. We're going to get projects built right across our country while making sure that we protect the environment.
The honourable member for Terra Nova, the Peninsula.
Mr. Speaker, it's an honour to rise here representing the hard-working people of Newfoundland and Labrador for the very first time. While my province of Newfoundland and Labrador has the highest unemployment rate in the country at nearly 10%, the industrial carbon tax is compromising our competitive edge and shifting our jobs abroad. Canada's energy, mining and forestry workers are pleading to have the industrial carbon tax removed. My question is, will this Prime Minister fully repeal the industrial carbon tax to create jobs at a time we need it the most?
The Honourable Minister of Environment and Climate Change.
Mr. Speaker, making sure that polluters pay is a central part of moving forward and being competitive as an energy superpower. When we look at other countries around the world, they have border carbon adjustments in place. They are looking to Canada to make sure that the energy that we provide is low risk, low cost, and low carbon.
Hear, hear. The Honourable Member for Elgin, St. Thomas, London South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Liberals claim they want to make Canada an energy superpower, but they forget it's their record over the last decade that has decimated our energy sector and kept our resources in the ground. Their oil and gas production cap will kill tens of thousands of jobs and cost our economy $20 billion. Their industrial carbon tax will cost Canadian businesses and consumers and make Canada less affordable and less competitive. Their legislation, Bill C-69, is blocking energy infrastructure and making us more dependent on the United States. The solution is easy. Will the Prime Minister repeal Liberals' costly anti-energy laws?
The Honourable Minister of Industry and Canadian Economic Development.
Thank you. I would like to thank first and foremost the constituents from Hunsey-Cartierville. Merci à tous les citoyens d'Hunsey-Cartierville. First and foremost, we know that we are in a trade war that has been launched by the U.S. And we know that hardworking Canadians are feeling the grunt of this trade war, particularly in the manufacturing sector, particularly in the auto, steel, and aluminum sectors. And we continue to fight for them. That's why we will make sure that we invest in them, that we work on making sure that we attract the investments across the world while making sure that we grow the fastest economy of the G.
L'honorable député de Chicoutimi et Le Fjord.
Monsieur le Président, tout au long de la campagne, le premier ministre a tenté de nous faire croire qu'il était ouvert à de nouveaux projets énergétiques. Mais il n'a jamais mentionné clairement qu'il va annuler le projet de loi C-69, une loi libérale anti-développement qui empêcherait GNL Québec. Une majorité de Québécois veulent des pipelines, les Saguenayens veulent GNL. On en a besoin pour être moins dépendants des Américains. Est-ce que le premier ministre va écouter les régions du Québec et abroger C-69?
Bravo! L'honorable ministre de l'Industrie et du Développement économique pour les régions du Québec.
Alors, ça me fait plaisir de travailler avec mon collègue alors que nous faisons face à une guerre tarifaire qui a été lancée par les Américains pour faire en sorte de protéger les emplois partout à travers le Québec, mais également partout à travers le pays. Et bien entendu, dans le secteur de l'aluminium, où mon collègue, dans le fond, a sa circonscription. Nous allons attirer des investissements. Nous allons faire en sorte de créer des emplois ici, partout à travers le pays, et nous allons avoir l'économie avec la plus forte croissance du G7. Merci.
Honorable député de Pierre-Boucher, les Patriotes Verchères.
Monsieur le Président, un sondage léger révèle que 87 % des Québécois sont complètement détachés de la monarchie. Voilà pourquoi l'Assemblée nationale a adopté une motion unanime exigeant l'abolition de tous les liens du Québec avec la monarchie. Au Québec, on est démocrate, pas monarchiste. Mais les libéraux, eux autres, leur premier geste après les élections, c'est d'inviter le roi d'Angleterre à parader sur le bras des Québécois. Ça, là, ça va coûter des millions de dollars. Est-ce qu'ils réalisent, là, que leur tout premier geste prouve qu'ils sont complètement déconnectés des Québécois?
L'honorable ministre de l'Identité et de la Culture canadienne et ministre responsable des langues officielles.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. J'aimerais également remercier les citoyens et citoyennes de Laurier-Sainte-Marie qui m'ont permis d'être ici pour un 3e mandat consécutif. J'aimerais également rappeler à mes collègues du Bloc que c'est toujours la couronne britannique qui lit le discours du trône. Il n'y a rien de nouveau là-dedans. Cette fois-ci, on avait évidemment le roi qui est venu le lire, qui est un grand honneur pour beaucoup de Canadiens et de Québécois et de Québécoises. J'en ai rencontré, mais j'aimerais aussi rappeler à mes collègues du Bloc que le Canada est un pays souverain. La souveraineté, un concept que le Bloc québécois devrait bien comprendre, Monsieur le Président.
The honourable member for Thornhill.
We're seeing two different narratives on housing. That's what I thought.
Je demande pardon au député de Pierre-Boucher, les Patriotes Verchères. C'est à son tour.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Les Québécois, ils n'ont pas voté pour ça. Les Québécois, ils espéraient un gouvernement sérieux qui déposerait un budget pour soutenir l'économie québécoise face à Donald Trump. Mais aujourd'hui, ils voient que la priorité des libéraux, c'était pas le budget. Il n'y en a pas. C'était pas le soutien à l'économie. Il n'y en a pas. Leur priorité, c'est un spectacle avec le roi d'Angleterre. C'est drôle, hein? Quand le Bloc parle de monarchie, on nous accuse toujours de ne pas parler des vraies affaires. Mais pourtant, là, eux autres, ils n'ont pas priorisé les vraies affaires, hein? Comme le budget. Ils ont plutôt décidé de gaspiller des millions sur une parade royale. Est-ce qu'ils peuvent nous expliquer ça?
L'honorable ministre des Finances et du Revenu national.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Je voudrais d'abord remercier les gens de Saint-Maurice-Champlain pour un 4e mandat que je vais remplir avec conviction, avec humilité et avec passion, Monsieur le Président. Mais oui, on s'occupe des vraies affaires, Monsieur le Président. Il dormait au gaz. La première chose qu'on a annoncée, c'est une réduction d'impôts pour 22 millions de Canadiens, Monsieur le Président. On devrait tous célébrer ici aujourd'hui, Monsieur le Président. 22 millions de Canadiens vont bénéficier d'une réduction d'impôts pour la classe moyenne, Monsieur le Président. Promesse faite, promesse tenue, Monsieur le Président. On va bâtir un Canada fort ensemble.
The honourable member for Thornhill.
Mr. Speaker, we're seeing two very different narratives on housing, one from the campaign and a very different one from the minister. The new housing minister, the former mayor from Vancouver, who let housing prices go up 179% in just 8 years, is saying something very different. The minister answered a resounding no when he was asked if home prices should come down from their record highs. If he's adamant that prices shouldn't go down, how much does he think that they should go up?
The Honourable Minister of Housing and Infrastructure and Minister responsible for Pacific Economic Development Canada.
Merci,
Monsieur le Président, et je suis honoré d'être ici. I want to first of all thank the people of Vancouver, Fraser, South Burnaby for giving me the opportunity to represent them here. On the issue of affordability and affordable housing, well, first, I'm very proud to be part of a government that's committed to cutting taxes from day one here in the House. I'm also looking forward to pursuing the most ambitious affordable housing plan in the history of Canada, delivering a GST cut to first-time home buyers and ensuring we bring the development costs down.
The honourable member for Thornhill.
The minister ought to know that the housing market is already in chaos. Sellers can't sell and buyers can't buy. It's proving out. Only 310 houses were sold across the entire GTA. That's a staggering 89% below 10-year average. Lower supply, higher prices spells more trouble for Canadians. So instead of building homes and bringing the cost down, he's actually building more bureaucracy. So we know that housing prices went up 179% when he was in charge of housing in Vancouver. How much higher are they going to get when he's in charge of housing for the entire country?
The Honourable Minister of Housing and Infrastructure and Minister responsible for Pacific Economic Development Canada.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the member, it's not about reducing the value of an individual's home or senior's home. The member may wish to force seniors to sell their homes for less. We're going to focus on building more affordable housing and delivering a cut to the GST to first-time home buyers.
The Honourable Member for Parry Sound, Muskoka.
Mr. Speaker, the sale of new homes in the GTA just hit a 7th straight month of record-setting lows. Only 310 new homes were sold in the GTA in April. That's a 72% drop over last year and an 89% drop in the 10-year average, with condo sales plummeting 94%. Wow. The report warns that there will be a massive housing shortage in 2 years. Prices are too high for buyers and they're too low for sellers. So can the Prime Minister tell us what he plans to do to help the buyers that cannot afford to buy and the sellers that cannot afford to sell?
L'honorable ministre des Finances et du Revenu National.
It's good to be back, and in fact, the Conservatives have not changed, Mr. Speaker. They should listen more. My colleague was very clear about what we're doing. We're eliminating GST for first-time home buyers, Mr. Speaker, in the country, for houses up to $1 million. We should all celebrate, Mr. Speaker, and we expect the Conservative to support the Ways and Means motion we have put, Mr. Speaker, because this is how we can help Canadians. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Member for Parry Sound, Muskoka.
Well, Mr. Speaker, tax relief is certainly welcome, and it's frankly long overdue from this government. But the meager tax cuts that they're talking about will save families $70 a month. We're dealing with families that are looking at $5,000 a month mortgages or more. Equifax is reporting that the mortgage delinquencies in Ontario are at the highest level ever recorded. They're up 70%, Mr. Speaker. This is not a coincidence. It's certainly not a surprise. So instead of building a third federal housing bureaucracy, why don't we just get more homes built?
Good point. L'honorable ministre des Finances et du Revenu National.
Mr. Speaker, in one end, it's encouraging that we hear the Conservative will support our motion, but it's concerning to a member, Mr. Speaker, to really talk down a measure that will help 22 million Canadians in this country, Mr. Speaker. This is shocking. This is up to $840 for a family with 2 incomes, Mr. Speaker. The people in my riding and his riding are welcoming this measure, and we hope the Conservative will support us. This is how you support Canadians.
L'honorable député de Montmorency, Charlevoix.
Merci, M. le Président. Tout au long de ma campagne, j'ai rencontré des centaines de jeunes de Montmorency-Charlevoix complètement découragés par le prix des maisons. Après plus d'une décennie de ce gouvernement libéral, le prix des paiements hypothécaires et de la mise de fonds à l'achat d'une propriété a doublé. Selon l'Association canadienne de l'immeuble, l'année dernière seulement, le prix des maisons au Québec a augmenté de 10 %. Mais à son premier jour en poste, le ministre du Logement a déclaré que le prix des maisons était le bon. Une affirmation qui est complètement déconnectée de la réalité. Monsieur le Président, comment le ministre peut-il regarder nos jeunes dans le blanc des yeux et leur dire que le prix des maisons est le bon?
L'honorable ministre des Finances et du Revenu national.
Monsieur le Président, si mon collègue avait bien écouté aujourd'hui, il aurait entendu qu'il y a une bonne nouvelle pour les Canadiens. On va éliminer la TPS pour les acheteurs d'une première maison jusqu'à 1 million de dollars, Monsieur le Président. Ça représente une économie de 50 000 dollars, Monsieur le Président. C'est une mesure exceptionnelle. C'est une mesure qui aide les jeunes familles. C'est une mesure qui va aider les Canadiens, Monsieur le Président. Promesse faite, première tenue par le gouvernement du Premier ministre.
The honourable member for South Shore St. Margaret.
Mr. Speaker, last month voters in my riding of beautiful South Shore St. Margaret's voted for change. A change to address the cost of living and a change to address the cost of living, which has eroded Canada's quality of life. They voted for a change that puts more money in their pockets, and they voted for change that builds more affordable Canada. As we build the strongest economy in the G7, we need to ensure that we leave no Canadians behind. Mr. Speaker, my question is, could the Minister of Finance and National Revenue please share with this House how the government...
L'honorable ministre des Finances et du Revenu national.
Mr. Speaker, what a great question, Mr. Speaker. I think the Conservatives should follow the lead, Mr. Speaker. I want to congratulate my colleague for election and for the hard work that she's putting on behalf of the people of South Shore St. Margaret's, Mr. Speaker. As she mentioned, last month Canadians voted for a government that has a plan to build the best economy in the G7, and that's what we're delivering, Mr. Speaker. That's what we're delivering, and we're going to address the cost of living in this country. That's why one of the very first announcements of this government, Mr. Speaker, was to cut tax for 22 million Canadians. Mr. Speaker, we should all celebrate.
The honourable member for Haldimand Norfolk.
Liberal policies like Bill C-5 have led to a crime wave across Canada. Violent crime is up 50%. Gun violence is up 116%. Just yesterday, a drive-by shooting shook our small rural community of Cayuga. This crime wave is no accident. It is a direct result of the Liberal policies like C-5 that has ended mandatory jail time for serious gun offences and drug crimes. Will the Prime Minister end this crime wave by repealing Trudeau's Bill C-5?
Yeah. The Honourable Minister for Public Safety.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and let me just take a moment to thank the people of Scarborough-Gilbert-Rouge Park for my fourth consecutive mandate. To my friend opposite, my heart goes out to those who are impacted by the violence in her community just yesterday. I want to assure her, and I want to assure all Canadians, that we will address issues of serious violent offenders seriously. We will make sure that we tighten up bail reform, and we will ensure that our government will always be there to protect Canadians from coast to coast to coast.
The honourable member for Haldimand Norfolk.
Mr. Speaker, a serious issue is the will of Canadians to live in peace, which they once did. Now they live in fear because of Liberal soft-on-crime policies. Liberal policies like Bill C-5 and Bill C-75 put repeat violent offenders back on the streets, contributing to the suffering of communities across Canada. Premiers, police, legal experts, civil liberties advocates all demand change. So I ask the question one more time. Will the Prime Minister restore safe streets and repeal Bill C-5 and Bill C-75, yes or no?
The Honourable Minister for Public Safety.
On April the 28th, Canadians gave us a mandate to ensure that our streets are safe. And since that time, we've been working together with law enforcement to work towards safer communities across Canada. I want to just outline some of the highlights from the Chief of Police for the City of Toronto, who indicated that auto thefts, for example, have decreased by 39%, home invasions down by 42%, homicides down by 67%, and shootings down by 46%. We have a lot more work to do, Mr. Speaker, and we will work together with law enforcement to ensure the safety and security of all Canadians. Our government will always be there to protect Canadians.
The honourable member for Edmonton Gateway.
Mr. Speaker, families across Canada feel helpless because these Liberals have done nothing to stop violent crime rising across the country. They stick with their ideological soft-on-crime policies, and that is why extortion gangs are targeting Canadian businesses and their families. In fact, just this month, we've seen more shootings, arson, and even a murder potentially linked to extortion. Yet Canada still has no mandatory minimum penalty for extortion. So will the Prime Minister work with Conservatives to bring in the same legislation that I brought in last Parliament to bring in tougher penalties for extortion?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Combating Crime.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You heard it in the throne speech yesterday. It is a top priority of this new government. We are partnering with police services across this country to fight organized crime. We'll make it tougher for violent criminals to get bail. We'll impose stricter sentences for repeat offenders. We are serious. We're going to get to work, and we're going to fight crime.
Hear, hear. The Honourable Member for Markham Unionville.
Mr. Speaker, since 2016, nearly 50,000 Canadians have died from the opioid crisis. Over 80% of accidental opioid deaths involve fentanyl. It takes just 2 milligrams of fentanyl to kill someone. Mass fentanyl production is mass murder. But Liberal laws let the monsters who kill our people walk free. Conservatives are proposing to give mandatory life sentences for anyone involved in the trafficking, production, and distribution of over 40 milligrams of fentanyl. Will the Prime Minister crack down on fentanyl production and give life sentences for drug kingpins committing mass murder?
Hear, hear. Minister for Public Safety.
Mr. Speaker, let me just first welcome my friend opposite to the House. Fentanyl has torn every community across Canada and North America, Mr. Speaker. It's something that everyone in this House is impacted by. We're accelerating our work to crack down and dismantle the fentanyl trade and organized crime that profit from it. That's why we listed 7 cartels as terrorist entities under the Criminal Code. I'm working so closely with Kevin Brasso, Canada's fentanyl czar, at home and abroad, to put laser-sharp focus on dismantling fentanyl rings. We will work together in order to address this issue. Our government will always be there.
The Honourable Member for Brampton West.
Mr. Speaker, soft on crime, Liberal Bills C5 and C75 have unleashed crime waves in Brampton and across our country. Violent crime up 50%, auto theft up 50%, extortion up 400%. The out-of-touch public safety minister said during the campaign that there was nothing wrong with the bail system. Repeat offenders should be in jail, not out on bail. Does the Prime Minister agree with his minister, or does he stand with frontline officers like Peel Police to bring in bail reforms?
Honourable Secretary of State for Combating Crime.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We stand with all our frontline officers, with Peel Regional Police and all police agencies across this country. We're partnering with their services, and we're going to fight organized crime. We'll make it tougher for violent criminals to get bail, impose stricter sentences for repeat violent offenders. And the Chief has reported, the Chief of Police for Toronto, that auto thefts have decreased by nearly 39%, home evasions down 42%, homicides down 67%, and shootings down 46%. And we'll continue to be tough on crime.
Hear, hear. The Honourable Member for Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands.
Before taking office, the Prime Minister helped establish multi-billion-dollar investment funds that were placed in offshore tax havens. Now, he's shielding those investments from public scrutiny with a blind trust that hides but doesn't remove potential conflicts of interest. Now, Canadians are lined up at food banks in record numbers. They can't pay their rent, but they are paying their taxes, and they want to know if the Prime Minister paid taxes on his investments. So can the Prime Minister, who I welcome here today, confirm that none of the investments that he placed in the blind trust were previously held in offshore tax havens?
Hear, hear. The Honourable Government House Leader.
Speaker, as you know, the Prime Minister has followed all the rules even before they were required. He'll continue complying with all the rules. Opposition members like to distract Canadians with these hypotheticals and conjured scenarios. The fact is we have a Prime Minister, a new government, hard at work at creating opportunity for Canadians, the strongest economy in the G7, and reducing taxes. The opposition don't like that so much, so they dig dirt on day one. Shame on them, Mr. Speaker. We're going to continue our work.
The honourable member for Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands, Rideau Lakes.
Canadians don't want an explanation in how to bend over backwards to fit through ethical loopholes. They want to be reassured that after a decade of serial ethical law breaking, that they can have confidence that the Prime Minister is going above just the basic minimum standard. So the Prime Minister, again, who I welcome to the chamber, can he stand up and just assure Canadians that none of the funds that he had previously were held in offshore tax havens? And can he tell Canadians what those investments were in when he sat at his first cabinet meeting?
The Honourable Government House Leader.
Speaker, Canada has among the most stringent ethics guidelines in the world. The Prime Minister has complied with those ethics guidelines and surpassed the requirements contained in those ethics guidelines. What the Prime Minister is busy doing is not what this member is busy doing. What the Prime Minister is busy doing is creating opportunity for Canada, standing up in a trade war against the United States, reducing our taxes, building new homes, and creating the strongest economy in the G7. That's what we're up to.
Honorable député de Mégantic-l'Érable, Lotbinière.
Monsieur le Président, comment s'assurer que le premier ministre n'est-il pas en train de préparer des opportunités pour lui-même, Monsieur le Président? Pourquoi le premier ministre libéral hésite-t-il autant à faire connaître aux Canadiens toute l'étendue de sa fortune personnelle? Pourquoi autant de cachettes? On sait que juste avant de devenir premier ministre, il a mis en place pour son entreprise Brookfield 2 fonds de plusieurs milliards de dollars dans des paradis fiscaux notoires pour éviter de payer des impôts au Canada. Le premier ministre peut-il confirmer tout de suite qu'il ne détient aucun avoir ni intérêt financier dans des paradis fiscaux à l'étranger?
L'honorable leader du gouvernement à la Chambre.
Monsieur le Président, ça n'a pas pris de temps pour que ça tombe en panne sèche, la machine à création de questions du Parti conservateur, parce qu'il répète toujours la même chose. Ce que nous faisons ici, c'est créer des emplois, créer une économie forte, se tenir debout contre les États-Unis. Bien sûr que le premier ministre surpasse toutes les exigences du code d'éthique, le code le plus exigeant du monde entier, Monsieur le Président. Les conservateurs aiment creuser pour de la poussière et de la saleté. Nous, on crée de l'opportunité pour les Canadiens de ce côté-ci de la Chambre.
Honorable député de Mégantic-l'Érable, Lotbinière.
Ça n'a pas pris de temps au gouvernement libéral pour reproduire les mêmes façons de faire que l'ancien gouvernement, Monsieur le Président. La réalité, là, c'est que le premier ministre libéral semble prendre tout son temps pour camoufler ses conflits d'intérêts avant d'ouvrir ses livres aux Canadiens. Une de ses premières décisions, ça a été de transférer ses actifs dans une fiducie sans droit de regard. Puis il prétend que, comme par magie, du jour au lendemain, il va oublier tout ce qu'il y avait puis tout ce qu'il y a. Les seuls à ne pas savoir, c'est les Canadiens et seulement les Canadiens. Le premier ministre va-t-il mettre carte sur table, révéler l'ensemble de ses avoirs financiers ainsi que les conflits d'intérêts qui sont contenus dans sa fiducie? Oui ou non? On veut une réponse tout de suite.
Honorable leader du gouvernement à la Chambre.
Monsieur le Président, les Canadiens doivent être très rassurés du fait que ce Parlement et nos institutions sont régis par le code d'éthique le plus exigeant presque du monde entier. Donc, le premier ministre a surpassé, il a tout fait, rempli ses obligations, a surpassé même ces obligations-là. J'invite mon collègue, si le Parti conservateur souhaite poursuivre dans cette veine de saleté, je pense que les électeurs vont être dégoûtés. Les électeurs s'attendent à ce qu'on travaille ici pour les Canadiens et non jeter de la boue des deux côtés de la Chambre.
L'honorable député de Terrebonne.
Monsieur le Président, depuis trop longtemps, les barrières commerciales freinent le développement d'une seule économie canadienne. Alors que notre souveraineté économique est menacée, il est aujourd'hui plus important que jamais auparavant de favoriser le libre-échange à l'intérieur de nos frontières. Est-ce que le ministre des Affaires intergouvernementales et de l'unité de l'économie canadienne peut informer cette Chambre des gestes que notre gouvernement pose pour protéger notre souveraineté économique et bâtir une seule seule économie canadienne.
L'honorable président du Conseil privé du roi pour le Canada et ministre responsable du commerce Canada-États-Unis, des affaires intergouvernementales et de l'unité de l'économie canadienne.
Tout un titre, Monsieur le Président. Monsieur le Président, je remercie notre collègue de Terrebonne pour l'excellente question. Lors de la précédente campagne électorale, notre gouvernement s'est engagé à bâtir une économie au Canada, pas 13. Et d'ici la fête du Canada, Monsieur le Président, nous allons déposer un projet de loi visant à éliminer toutes les barrières fédérales au commerce interprovincial et à travailler avec les provinces et les territoires afin d'accélérer la réalisation des projets dans l'intérêt national. Monsieur le Président, c'est comme ça qu'on bâtit l'économie la plus forte au G7.
The honourable member for Calgary East.
Canada is in an economic crisis without any plan because the Liberals shut this place down for half the year to avoid accountability. And now the Prime Minister says no budget before fall. With record high food bank usage, a rise in the number of those using those food banks that are fully employed, a rise in mortgage delinquencies. TD Bank now also predicts that over 100,000 Canadian jobs will be lost due to a looming recession. Given all of this information, how is it even possible the Liberals won't table a budget this spring?
L'honorable ministre des Finances et du Revenu national.
I welcome the question from my colleague, Mr. Speaker. We're being very clear that there will be a budget in early fall of this year, Mr. Speaker. But in the meantime, why we should celebrate, and we just seen now that the Conservatives are going to support our motion, Mr. Speaker. Now this is a good thing, Mr. Speaker. Now Canadians will see that in this House of Commons, we need to do things for them. The first thing that we presented, that we promised and we're delivering, is a tax cut for the middle class, Mr. Speaker. 22 million Canadians will having a tax cut, Mr. Speaker. This is what we've been elected for. We're going to fight for Canadians. Every day, Mr. Speaker, is a good day to fight for Canadians.
The honourable member for Calgary East.
The Prime Minister sloganeered on a plan, yet refuses to tell anyone what that plan is. He's overseeing the longest period without a budget since the 1960s outside of COVID. Uncertainty about spending and their debt that they're going to accumulate scares away investors, small businesses, and Canadians during a cost of living crisis. We know that this Prime Minister is going to spend more than Justin Trudeau. Why won't they be clear with Canadians and let them know how much more inflation and interest rates are going to go up because of all their spending?
Hear, hear. L'honorable ministre de l'Industrie et l'Industrie et ministre responsable de développement économique Canada pour les régions du Québec.
Mr. Speaker, we already know that unjustified tariffs by the U.S. against Canadians are making Canadians' lives much more unaffordable. That's why we're cutting taxes. As the Minister of Finance just mentioned, this new government is cutting taxes on the middle class, making sure also that we're cutting the carbon tax and cutting the GST on first-time homebuyers. We will create the strongest and fastest growing economy of the G7. This is the utmost priority of our government, and we will deliver. Thank you.
The honourable member for Newmarket Aurora.
The Prime Minister claimed being the man with a plan. Very well. Where is it? After 14 years in finance, I have learned that if you don't know your numbers, you're out. We know the Prime Minister is committed to spending more than Justin Trudeau, but he won't even tell Canadians how much. TD reported that Canada is nearing a two-quarter recession with up to 100,000 job losses this fall. So I have one simple question. With the economic storm clouds moving in, how is it possible not to have a budget this spring?
L'honorable ministre des Finances et du Revenu national.
Mr. Speaker, I have one simple answer. We have a plan, and it's a plan in action, Mr. Speaker. I welcome this member to the House of Commons, but the plan plan, Mr. Speaker, is simple. We're going to cut tax for 22 million Canadians, Mr. Speaker. And in fact, the leader of the Conservatives just said outside the House that he's going to support our plan. So that, Mr. Speaker, is a step forward. Not only we're going to do that, we're going to remove GST for first-time home buyers for a house up to $1 million. And, Mr. Speaker, we're going to remove the consumer carbon price from law, Mr. Speaker. This is a plan. This is delivering for Canadians. This is building a better economy for all.
The honourable member for Labrador.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's an honour for me to rise in this House as a representative for a region that forms part of Canada's north, beautiful Labrador. We must never take our sovereignty and security in the Arctic for granted. As foreign threats to the region's increase and the impacts of climate change intensify, it is imperative that Canada work in close partnership with Indigenous and Northern communities. Can the Minister of Northern and Arctic Affairs inform this House on the government strategy for the region? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Minister for Northern Affairs.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today with a deep sense of responsibility, gratitude, and humility. I stand here as a proud Anishinaabe, Innu, and Métis woman representing Churchill, Kiiwetinokiski riding. Ensuring a Canada that is strong and free and defending the Arctic and the people living there is a top priority for this new government. We will strengthen the presence of the Canadian Armed Forces, detect and deter early warnings with radar coverage, and invest in the necessary housing and infrastructure. And we'll do this all by working with Indigenous and Northern partners every step of the way.
The honourable member for Central Newfoundland.
Mr. Speaker, in yesterday's throne speech, the Prime Minister reaffirmed his commitment to persecute the fishing and aquaculture industries with Liberal policy to close down 30% of fishing grounds by 2030. The 30 by 30 Marine Protected Areas agenda was developed by the United Nations in conjunction with foreign activists, and this government signed it. So how can the Minister of Fisheries support shutting down the productivity of the fishing industry and the aquaculture industry that means so much to coastal communities throughout Canada, given the impact that it'll have on our very own province?
The Honourable Minister of Fisheries.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I want to thank the people of St. John's East for continuing to put their trust in me, and I also want to congratulate my colleague from across the aisle. This government continues to understand the cultural and the economic importance of the fisheries. And I can tell you that I am very humbled and proud to be responsible for this file. And I will also assure the people of Canada and certainly my colleague across the aisle that the fisheries remains an important ministry in the government, and I will do all that I can to ensure that harvesters, industry, and communities are protected.
The honourable member for Vancouver Kingsway.
Mr. Speaker, Canada's unemployment rate has surged to 6.9%, the highest in 8 years outside the pandemic. Alarmingly, youth unemployment is more than double that. And now, the OECD is warning that Trump's trade war will cost Canada even more jobs this year. Mr. Speaker, Canadians are worried about their futures. What immediate steps will this government take to bring the jobless rate down and protect Canadian workers who will be hurt by Donald Trump's tariffs?
Okay, the honourable member, the honourable minister for Jobs and Families and minister responsible for the Federal Economic Development Agency for Northern Ontario.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's an honour to rise and represent Thunder Bay Superior North for a 4th term in this House of Commons. This government is very focused on protecting workers and in making sure that youth and indeed workers of all ages have the skills and abilities to thrive as our economy transitions. I will work closely with my partners, indeed members across this House, to make sure that all Canadians have an opportunity to thrive as we see economic change.
And that completes our very first question period of the 45th Parliament. I wish to draw the attention of members to the presence in the gallery of the Honourable Rob Lance, Premier of Prince Edward Island. No points of order, so we'll go to... I wish to inform the House that the volume of earpieces will now be reset. We'll now go to routine proceedings. But first, I would like to table a couple of documents. I'd like to table the Canadian Human Rights Commission 2024 annual report.
Just read this.
In French too.
Just read.
Conformément au paragraphe 61.4 de la loi canadienne sur les droits de la personne, le rapport de la Commission canadienne des droits de la personne pour l'année 2024, conformément à l'article 108.3e du règlement, ce rapport est réputé renvoyé en permanence au Comité permanent de la justice et des droits de la personne.